Welcome back to Footy Matters on EFL TV, where I'm joined every week by Phil Merton, the Footy Ops Manager of the Eastern Footy League. Mertz, good afternoon.
Daniel, good to see you.
Mate, great to have you on board. What are the issues facing the EFL off-field?
Look, we have a number pop up every week. Obviously this week there's been a fair amount of press in relation to some racial vilification incidents that have occurred across a whole range of footy leagues.
Do we have a racial vilification policy in the EFL?
Yeah, we do, and it's something that all clubs have signed on to and that we enforce over the course of the season. It's been good over the last few years. We haven't had any instances that we've needed to have that, but we have a trained mediator that can come in and deal with any issues that we have in that regard.
We've talked about it a lot this week on SEN about the Magic Door situation and the way it was handled by the VFL and the people at the ground. What should, if somebody comes across it in the crowd, what should we do about it?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think the way they handled that was spot on. I think bring it to the attention of the officials from each of the clubs that are there, try and identify who the person is and then ask them to leave the facility. Yep. And then as long as we've got the identification of that person, we can usually follow that up with whether it be mediation or some other form of that we need to do to try and ensure the behaviour doesn't go on. But I think the response of that has been really positive. It shows that that kind of behaviour at our footy footy at all levels isn't accepted or tolerated.
No, that's right, not accepted, particularly in the EFL, let alone any other competition across the country. So leave that alone if you're thinking about getting involved in that sort of shenanigans. What about the deliberate rush behind rules? Been introduced this year in the EFL. It's caused some consternation around the traps. Any major issues from your point of view?
Look, I mean, I think with the introduction of any new rules, there's going to be a little bit of a teething process in terms of its introduction, but we think it's been a real positive for the competition. It's been mainly introduced to try and avert the completely deliberate rush behinds, similar to what the AFL did in getting rid of the Joel Bowden type situation or the Hawthorn 2008 grand final situation. So we think the umpires are watching that and trying to ensure that players are trying to play in the spirit of the game, and that it's been interpreted pretty well at the moment.
So the umpiring department has been given the indication that only in dramatic circumstances are they to pay that free kick.
Yeah, or if a player has other options and then waits for pressure to come to them, or the defending ruckman punches the ball directly over the goal or behind line from a boundary throw-in or a ball up that's been near the goals, they're the main instances where it should be paid. Okay,
so that clears it up for a lot of people out there in EFL land, which is good. Another issue that's raised its head in the last couple of weeks is the Paul Roos incident up there in New South Wales. A coach going onto the field and interacting with runners and other players from other teams. What's the policy in the AFL in regards to that sort of situation?
Look, we're not keen on coaches running on the field and trying to involve themselves in situations. At all our games, it's required that there's a qualified trainer. I mean, even this year, we've had 250 new trainers but get qualified across the competition. So clubs are doing a fantastic job in ensuring that they've got the right people at the grounds. And if a player gets injured, they're the right people to treat those players. If there are other incidents, it's best to let the umpires manage it. And then if the officials go on, such as the runner who are allowed on the field, to try and get their players out of whatever may have occurred, that's the right thing to do. But history suggests that the more people that get involved, and particularly the more adults in junior sport that get involved, that's when things can increase and greater trouble can go from that.
So I suppose in the end what we're saying is if you're not officially allowed on the ground during the course of play, don't go on.
Exactly, and as I said before, as soon as more people get on the ground and become involved, it becomes a whole lot more difficult for not only the umpires to manage, but for us to manage it post the game. Because if you've got 5 players and involved in something, that it's a lot easier to identify what may have happened than when you've got 20 or 30 people involved in something. So yeah, leave the field to the players and to the umpires, and things are a lot easier to manage in that regard.
It's great to catch up, Mertz. I think we're going to be able to clear a lot of these issues up through the year on EFL TV and get the fans and the supporters out there to know a lot more about what's accepted and what's going on field for the EFL. Thanks for your time.
No worries. Thanks, Hart. Thanks for having me.
Phil Merton, Footy Matters on EFL TV.